It's time to earn your wings. This is Colin Morikawa's Flight School.
I'm Chris Trott from Team TaylorMade. Today, I have one of the crown jewels of the crew with us in Colin Morikawa. He's one of the greatest iron players of our generation. The statistics back it up. Today, Colin, I want you to take us to flight school.
Welcome to Flight School, Trotty.
Okay, mate. First shot out the gate, we've lasered it 197, playing 200. I'm going to let you take over from here and describe the shot and pick the club.
That I'd hit?
Well, it's your school. You're schooling me. I ain't schooling you.
All right. I mean, we first have to look at the lie. Little downhill lie, ball above your feet. It's going to shut down It's going to shut down the club, right? It's going to come out a little lower. We've got wind off our back, left pin. Probably want to land at about 190. So knowing that it's downwind, knowing that the ball's on the downhill lie, it's going to come out low. I'm not going to try and change that. I'm just going to know that I can take a little less club. It's going to shut the face down at address and hit that shot.
So when you play it in a practice round, does anything come into your mind about misses, flag locations? Do you do all that prep work before you go in?
Yeah, I mean, I always make notes in my yardage book about where I want to be. I always draw X's on spots I don't. So looking at this hole, left is never good, but it's so downwind that the ball's just not going to curve as much. So I don't have to play my normal cut. You know, I could almost play it just right, maybe 10 feet right of the hole and hit a straight shot there.
Okay. That's beautiful. That is legit. A little long maybe, is it?
Can't really tell.
Matt canned it.
I think it just went in the hole.
Maybe. We'll have to get confirmation. Down breeze like this then, like you say, you don't get much shape. The golf ball, the way that reacts with the wind, obviously all that comes in to the decision-making process.
Sometimes you do want to flight it against, the wind, right? You want to control it because it might be hard off the right, hard off the left. But when you have downwind, there's no need to fight it. You know it's not going to curve as much, so you might as well just stick with what you have. Straight downwind, aim straight, try and hit a straight shot, and hope it goes there.
When I look at turf interaction, that is perfect considering you're on a down bank. What changes did you have to make? You've said the flight's going to come out flatter. Technique-wise, what have you had to do to change to make that easy for you?
Almost find my center, right? So normally on a flat lie, you're about 50-50. Since it's on a downhill lie, I'll almost go a little more on my left. But that doesn't mean I need to put it straight on the back of my stance. Learning after playing a bunch of courses where you have a lot of side slope lies, you can keep almost the same ball position, but have your weight a little shifted. So what that's going to do is really get back to center for you when you get back to impact.
Being a master of flights, the flight school that we're in at here, you've said already you play a lot of different golf courses. You went over to the Open Championship and you won it first time, seeing those conditions, but you changed your iron model the week before. It would be wrong of me not to ask you about that now. Like why, what came in? Was it turf interaction?
Yeah, it was all turf interaction. And you know what? It was a shot in the dark. I'd come into the Scottish Open the week before feeling great. Swing felt really good, especially the past month after the US Open. And I was just hitting these really weird shots. And I had to learn and I had to figure out, take a guess why I was not hitting, a 9-iron from the middle of the fairway to within 15 feet. I just couldn't do it. So it was a shot in the dark. The different sole widths on the P7 MCs, they're actually a little thinner. I was able to dig into the really tough fescue, firm ground, and I caught it center of the face. So sometimes, you'll maybe miss it about a groove low. That shot I just hit, maybe a fraction low. So even with the P7 MC, you might find a little more center face, digs a little bit better, gets it up in the air, and you don't have to try and scoop it up as much.
It must be weird to obviously rack and keep a set that you've only really used for a very small, bespoke area of the tour.
It is. But obviously I have good memories and I know what they did, so I trust them.
Have you put them in a cabinet?
Irons. What's up?
Have you put the clubs in
Nope,
a cabinet?
I wrote on Sharpie 21 open, waiting to use again.
I like it. It would be wrong if I asked you to hit another one from here. Let's move forward and check out a different flight.
Wonderful.
174, playing 176 down breeze for this second shot. Talk to me about your thoughts. I know you mentioned we might be in between clubs.
Yeah, we're a little bit in between a 9 and an 8. And having this downwind gives you options, right? Downwind, the ball can go far, but you got to hit it high. You can take the wind kind of out of play and play it low, but it's going to release a little more. So let's start with the 9-iron. I'm going to hit a 9-iron. I'm going to loft it up in the air, almost play a high draw.
So you're going to give us two options
So
here.
I'm going to show you two different shots that I would play.
So,
and it's kind of based on where the pin is, really.
Yeah. One of the things I pick up every time I watch you, which is a lot when it comes to leaderboards, is the conversation between you and the caddy. And I've spoken to you about this before. There's a lot of information, a lot of chat, a lot of start line talk, a lot of land angle. Why do you like that? And does it help you get in the zone for flight school?
Absolutely. I've got to be aware of what I'm trying to do, right? We're 174, so where am I trying to land this? Downwind, maybe 169, 170. But we don't use numbers. Like a lot of people straight downwind 174, just say they're trying to land at 170, right? People will say, let's play this 160. None of that ever happens in my flight school pretty much. It's all feel. Do you feel the wind? What does it feel like? So every time now, this past week, past kind of entire year, I'll walk up, and as I walk up, I'm thinking in my head, 170 downwind, what do I need to do? I'm not asking myself, I already have that answer, but those are the questions that I'm going through in my head. 170, downwind, I've got a 9-iron, I know what shot I need to hit. I need to see this window, high draw, and that's how I'm gonna produce the shot rather than thinking about, let's just hit a stock 160. It's a lot of feel with my shots.
Okay.
So
it's all to help you find your feel, clarify your feel, clear picture, be a player.
High draw, and just be an athlete and kind of react to the shot you want to produce.
This is good too. Yeah, good. Really good. Really good. You'd be happy with that, right?
I'd love that. Definitely take that.
When you play the draw, talk to us about that. How do you play the draw?
So it's pretty simple. It's club face is always at the target.
Yeah.
So always. So just say our pin's our target. Club face never leaves that. And it's really as simple as me closing my stance or opening my stance. For a draw, club face is at the target. Stance is closed almost halfway in between the pin and the bunker. And what that's going to produce is me swinging along my feet with essentially closed club face, which is at the target.
Close
That's all
to
I
the stance.
do. Closed stance, swing along the feet, and hit that shot. Same thing with a cut. Face is always at the target. Open stance, swing along your feet. Club face is initially going to be open.
And then change start line based on how far you aim left and how far you aim right.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm always going to be swinging along my feet, so I'm not really changing my swing. When it comes to flighting this high and low, obviously that was a 9-iron downwind. I wanted to get distance. But sometimes downwind, you don't actually want to take all that wind because it's a variable. You don't really know how far it's going to fly. So sometimes I like to flight it low. I want to keep it down, almost have it roll. And it actually takes a lot of the guesswork out. 174 to the pin, 165 to the front edge. All I'm trying to do is keep this low and probably land at about 160. So whether that's me taking an 8-iron, which is clubbing up, even a 7-iron, something I can swing smooth, and that's going to stay really low to have that one bounce up.
Okay.
So for me, back of the stance, but not too far back, and I'm just going to stay down and swing very smooth.
There's no distance in the length, just the pace. Yeah, skipping, that's lovely too. But the length of swing stays the same, the pace is what changes.
Exactly. I mean, we're trying to take off spin. We're trying to keep it away from the wind. Even though it's downwind and you like to, hit it high and let it go far, the control isn't there all the time. So it's about always staying in control of your golf ball.
And that is two great examples of how to do it. I mean, two masterclasses on what to do that. Let's cover a short iron, and then I think it's time for us all to get to school and do the studying.
Wonderful.
114, playing 115. So it's up 1. You've grabbed your wedge. Where do you take into consideration uphill, downhill? When do you do it in your prep, and how do you work it out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in practice rounds, we use our rangefinders. You get exact elevations, +2, +3. But yardage books, when they have it in there, I actually like to cut it in half. So, you know, if this is +1, I'd trust it. Sometimes we get +7 from a wedge. It's such a short distance, and the wedges go so high that normally it's actually going to fly the same distance. So
Okay.
I like to cut it in half. If, you know, 8, then I'm doing 4. It's just a rough estimate. It's a lot of feel. It goes back to feel again. How much up do you actually think it is? So 115, downwind, little uphill lie. I'm not going to fight the slope. I'm going to show you 2 different shots, 2 different flights. One that I'm going to take the wind, use a lot of height. Sometimes downwind, you're not going to get as much spin, so you need the height. So I got my 56 degree in my hand. I'm just going to let it soar in the air. And
So the slope would always overrule it. You're never going to fight the slope. That's what you just say.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Most of the times it's a lot easier to go with the slope, especially with the wedge. When you start getting too steep or you start trying to pick something, you don't really catch it center of the face. And with wedges, you see it a lot more where the consistency of the flight won't be the same. So if I try and fight it sometimes, it might catch a little high, might not fly how I want, and then you're messing around with, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 spin on the ball.
So you've got to get the same strike. You're trying to recreate the strike.
Absolutely.
I get it. Good, very good. And then
So
you
that's-
talked about a different flight.
That's one going with the slope. Sometimes downwind again. The downwind really throws it off of how much spin you can actually get. Because even if you hit it really high, and if you don't hit it great, the wind's gonna take it and kind of knuckle the ball. It's gonna make it go forever, right? So sometimes you wanna go against the slope with an uphill lie, take a little more club and control it. So land it, I'm gonna have to land it, you know, 115, I'm gonna have to land it about 108, have it skip, but I know the wind isn't gonna take it as much. So I've got my 50 degree. We're still gonna go with the slope, but since we have less club, it's not gonna go as high.
Love it. Just so much control. Awesome. Okay, Colin, I think, to be fair, looking at some of these shots, I think we all earned our wings today. Well done.
Oh man,
This
beautiful.
is yours. Hopefully come April, someone's putting a different jacket on you.
Thanks for
mate.
joining me. Good luck in there, everyone. Flight school.